Here we have the inside of the 2016 Elddis Accordo 135. If we firstly come to the main control panel, we can turn the 12 volt on the master switch just here. Once we've done this, it will give us a voltage reading of the leisure battery. Above the master switch, we then have the switch for the entrance lights. We then have awning light on and off, water pump on and off. Whenever the water pump is in operation, the green light will illuminate to let you know. Above, the red light will illuminate whenever the waste tank needs emptying. And to view how much water is in the fresh tank, just hold the button down here and go by the blue bar underneath the voltage. Beneath it, we then have the control panel for the whale heating and hot water. You will see that both are off at the moment. If we start with the water heating, if I start pressing this button, you'll see it goes over a series of icons until eventually ending back at off. So if we start with the first icon just here, we have a single wavy line which represents mains electricity. So we are now heating up hot water on mains supply using about 1 kilowatt. If I press again, mains electricity using about 2 kilowatts. So just dependent on the ampage of the site you're on. Obviously if you're on a low amp site, you want to be using 1 kilowatt to try and avoid tripping. If we have no mains at all, we can just run on gas. And if we have both power sources available, we can run in dual fuel. So we can run on gas and mains at 1 kilowatt and gas and mains at 2 kilowatts. These particular settings are extremely handy, especially in the winter months if you want to get up to temperature nice and quickly, or if you just want virtually instant hot water. Whenever you're consuming gas, the little flame icon will appear here. And if there's a problem with the water heater in any shape or form, a little red exclamation mark will appear where my finger is. If the red exclamation mark appears, just press the tap button here, and then a series of little red bars will appear, and then depending on how many bars are shown, will depict the problem. 9 times out of 10 it will just be something basic, like it's letting you know it doesn't have main supply or that it's failed to light on gas. And then once you think you've rectified the problem, you will then need to reset the control panel. So if it's a water heating problem, just hold and then press the plus. And if it's a heating problem, you hold the heater and again press the plus. If I now press again, it will then return back to off. If we now drop to the heating, this works very similar. So again, we'll start off at off, and then we have main supply again, but this time it's about 500 watts. 2 wavy lines is about 1 kilowatt, and 3 wavy lines 2 kilowatts. So again, just dependent on the ampage of the site you're on. After that, we then have gas on its own, and then next dual fuel again. Control your temperature on your plus and your minus just here. Whale recommend dropping the thermostat right the way down to the moon for night mode if you need to sleep with your heating on. One, it's a low heat, but secondly, the fan will be quieter. And if it's just a hot day and you just want to circulate the air, you can do so just here by dropping it to the snowflake, and the fan will just circulate the air around the motorhome. Next we have the hob. So we have 3 gas rings just here. It is just push in, twist, and then come down to the igniter, which just sits on the cooker itself. If we now drop to the cooker and the grill, if we now push in to the left, we can fire up the cooker, and if we go back to the off position and then push into the right, we can then fire up the grill. Beside this, we then have the Dometic fridge. So at the moment we're in the off position. If we now flick it to the first icon, this one here, picture of a 2-pin plug, so mains electricity. After that we have a little picture of a battery, and that is 12 volt maintain, which runs off the engine battery when the engine is running to keep the fridge cold whilst on the move. And then lastly we have gas. If we're going to use it on gas, we need to come across to the temperature control, and we need to hold it in, and we need to push the igniter button, and then this will move into the green when it has lit. As soon as we turn it to something else, it will then automatically put itself back out again. We then have the fridge and the freezer box just here, and we have the travel catch just here, and it can also be used to vent the fridge when you're not using it. Beneath the fridge we have the consumer unit. So we have all the individual MCBs just here, and then we have the main RCD and the test button just here. So if something's not working on main supply, just check to see whether or not you've tripped. We then have the 12 volt fuses just here, so again, if something's not working on 12 volt, just check the fuse. And then we also have the boiler drain valve just here. So to drain the boiler for winterization, firstly make sure the water pump is turned off, and then come to this lever and then flap it up. To fill it back up again, drop it back over, fill up your fresh water tank, turn your water pump on, and then it will begin to prime the boiler back up. You will then just need to open your taps to then blow out some of the air that may be in the system. Once the taps are running freely, close them back up again, and then the boiler will fully prime. Tucked underneath here we can see all the gas isolation taps for the motorhome. They are all in the on position and can quite frankly stay like that. I always say, smell gas in the van, go to the source and turn the gas bottle off. We then have the water pump just here and the boiler itself. If we now come to the wardrobe, in here you will find the regulator for the solar panel on the roof. You do not really need to do anything with it. It just lets you know what it's up to. So you'll see one of the lights is solid green at the moment, indicating that the battery is fully charged, and the other one is flashing, letting you know that the solar panel is currently charging it. Above this we have the digital amplifier for the Teleco television aerial on the roof. On and off underneath just here, and then control the boost on the dial here. And then we have the actual television aerial mast. Undo the collar, push the mast up, and then twist it into the position that you require, and then lock it into place. Never over tighten these collars because you can split them. If you need to do additional tuning, you can tilt the television aerial from the horizontal position to the vertical by turning the tail just here. Do make sure that the aerial is down for travel. If we now move to the washroom, we have the basin just here, and the shower. The Thetford toilet just sits here. To open to the cassette, just slide the grey lever and then push the flush just here. Level indicator just here to let you know when the cassette needs emptying, and then close back up again. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out. So if you feel resistance, just come in here and check if somebody's left it open. As we move to the back, we have the rail here to clip on the table, and then if we're making up the bed, we just need to slightly lift up and then pull both sides out, and then it's just a matter of dropping the cushions into place.